Hello, Harvest Right family member. For whatever reason, you need to remove a module. At this point, you've already removed the panels. Refer to our other videos if you need to. To remove the module, you need to remove these quick disconnects, as well as a grounding wire right here. We're gonna go ahead and remove the grounding wire on the freeze dryer end, and we'll leave it attached to the module here. So taking your 1/8 inch Allen wrench drill, I'll pull that out, and then we're good to move on. So you'll need a Phillips screwdriver to pull these screws out, which hold this serial connector in place. Now you can pull the module out and work on it on the table.
Today we're going to do a video showing you guys how to replace a relay board on your modular electronics. We have a few different relay board styles. This was our standard relay board. This is our new standard relay board that works with a solid state relay. So depending on which type of modular electronics you have and which version of relay board you were sent, hopefully this video will cover everything that you need to know. The tools that you'll need today are some needle nose pliers or a small adjustable wrench and just a Phillips screwdriver. So the first step, once you've removed your modular electronics from the freeze dryer, is going to be disconnecting the capacitor. You can see this modular electronics doesn't have a capacitor. Some of our models do and some don't. So if you don't have a capacitor, you can skip this step. To remove it, we're going to use the needle nose pliers and just loosen this bolt. You could also use an adjustable wrench for that. So once you remove the bolt and get this capacitor loose, we're going to go ahead and just turn your modular electronics over. And again, we'll be using this needle nose pliers. I'm just going to loosen these bolts. Yeah. Okay, we're gonna go ahead and flip this back over. And what we did is remove the screws that are holding this white case in place. You can see this model doesn't have one of these white protective cases. Again, some of our models have them and some don't. So if you don't have this, you don't need to worry about this step of removing it. But in this case, we're gonna show you how to remove it. We're gonna go ahead and just kind of pull this tab back and lift up from the front. And you can kind of just pop this top part out. Now that you have the white casing removed, if you had that on your modular electronics, we're going to go ahead and show you how to take the wires from your existing relay board and put them on your new relay board. The process is going to be pretty much the same whether you have this type of a relay board or this type over here. We'll start by showing it on this board, but you can still follow along. The wires are pretty similar for where they move to. So the first step on either board is going to be to remove this gray ribbon cable. You just kind of wiggle it from side to side, it'll pop out. Next, we're going to go ahead and remove the capacitor wires from the spare relay. And some relay board configurations don't have a capacitor, so if you don't have a capacitor, don't worry about this. You can see this model doesn't have one, it's just fine. But if you do have a capacitor, it should be connected to the spare relay. We're just going to disconnect that and set it aside for now. Next, we're going to go ahead and start removing wires. I'm using the needle nose pliers to do this just to make it a little easier. So we're going to start with the ground wire and just reconnect it. It'll be the same thing here. You'd remove the ground and attach it right there to the ground. Next, we're going to do the power wires, the main power. You want to make sure you get the white wire on the right and the black wire on the left. Next, we're going to do the condenser relay. So this will be the same on either relay board. You'll move the condenser wires off, and we're just going to reattach those here. Next, we'll do the vacuum relay wires. And finally, we'll do the heat relay wires. You can see this model doesn't have a mechanical heat relay right here, but the wires are still associated on the heater prongs. So you're still just going to move those two wires and attach them right here. Next, we're going to go ahead and move this little cable connector over to your new relay board. It'll be the same thing if you're working with this type of board. You'll move just from there to there. So we'll go ahead, just pull this off. And then finally, we have our tray temperature sensor wires and our room temperature sensor wires. If you can see really closely on the relay board, these two little spots are labeled. They're the bottom two spots, just right above the mechanical relays, or on this board, it's these two right here. They're labeled J17 and J18. So J17 is your tray temperature, J18 is your room temperature. So we'll just carefully move these over. Just make sure they're seated all the way. Same thing with your wires here, just make sure that you push down on them and that they're all fully connected. And it would be the same thing on this board here. The next step is going to be removing the existing relay board from the bracket. This is going to look a little bit differently between this model and this model. This board has 4 gold screws, 1 in each corner. We've already removed the bolts from the bottom of the bracket, so this one is just kind of loose already. On this model, we have just 1 gold screw in the bottom right corner, and then we have these little plastic white bracket holder things, 1 in each of the other corners. And so we'll go ahead and show you, we'll start with this model and just show you how to pop this board off, how to remove the screw and then pop the board off from these white little brackets. All right. So switching relay boards just for a moment so I can show you how to disconnect this one. One last wire I forgot to mention is this one right here. This can go ahead and be disconnected and you can just set it aside. Your new board will already have this, so you can just keep this connected and disconnect this one and just put it to the side. We're going to go ahead and turn the modular electronics over and just bring your newly wired board with you. In order to remove the board from the bracket, we're first going to just need to remove this little brass bolt. So we've removed the bolt and the grounding screw. We can just set that aside for now. We've got these 3 little white clips in the other 3 corners. We're going to go ahead and pinch these down. And now the board is disconnected from the bracket. Go ahead and just flip this back over. If this little piece pops out, just put it to the side. You're going to need this later to put your new grounding screw back into your new relay board. Okay. Now that your board is disconnected from the bracket, you can go ahead and just bring it out. You can go ahead and just remove these little white clips and set them to the side for now. And you're done with this board, you can set it aside as well. The next step is going to be to put the relay board onto your bracket, and we're going to start by doing that with the grounding screw, which goes in the bottom right corner. So we'll go ahead and just insert the screw here, and be sure to use this little plastic piece that's going to just space the board far enough away from the bracket that we don't get any kind of electrical arcing. You'll want to slide this onto the bracket and try to line it up with the hole in the bracket where the screw goes in. Once you get it there, we'll take our screwdriver and just try to drive that in as far as you can. Once you've got that in, kind of as far as you can take it, see that all right? Okay. We'll go ahead and bring the bolt over, and we're just going to tighten this. Want to make sure that's nice and tight. And set the bracket back down. Just going to double check that this is tight. That's good. Okay, the next step is going to be to insert these fasteners back into your bracket. You're going to have the short side going down into each of these 3 holes. So we'll start right here. And it should just clip in, not too tricky. You can use those pliers if you need to. So next we're going to take the board and just press it down onto the 3 fasteners that we just inserted. Right. Next we're going to go ahead and insert our grounding screw into the bottom right corner of the board. Be sure to use this little spacer so that you don't let the board touch the bracket, or you could get an electrical arc. See. Go ahead and just slide the spacer into place. And then insert the screw. Go ahead and just tighten that, make sure it's in all the way. Now we're going to go ahead and flip this up, and from the back side, you're going to attach this little brass nut to hold that grounding screw in place. You can go ahead and use your needle nose pliers to just tighten that. Just make sure that it's nice and tight. One of our last steps here is going to be sure that you have your wires here connected to your solid state relay. If these wires weren't part of your problem and needing to replace your relay board, these are already connected right here. What you can do is just disconnect this from your relay board and just connect the existing wiring to your new board. If you wanted to, or if you felt like it was necessary, you can remove the 2 Phillips screws from your solid state relay board and disconnect the old wiring, and then you would just insert the new wiring. These would go here, and your new connection would connect in right here. So multiple ways to do this, but you just need to make sure that you have a wiring connection here on J5 connected to your solid state relay board. Your last step is going to be to reconnect your gray ribbon cable into this little connector piece right here. The little pink line should be on the top if you're looking at the board this way. That was the last step for replacing your relay board in association with a solid state relay. Now we're going to go ahead and show you how to put your new standard relay board into the bracket if you have this model, and how to remove this from your bracket so that you can get everything moved over and installed. So we're going to go ahead and lift this new relay board up that you just wired and slide the old relay on the little plastic white piece out from underneath. There's going to be gold screws probably still in each corner that you can just pull out and set to the side. Once you've got the 4 screws out, you can just set this old relay board to the side. So next we're going to go ahead and attach your new relay board to your plastic bracket here. We're going to go ahead and take a gold screw for each corner. And we'll just insert those. Okay, we're going to go ahead and reconnect this gray ribbon. Shot. And then we're going to go ahead and put the casing back on. Just be careful not to pinch any wires when you're doing this. Then you're going to want to line up your board with the holes on the back where the screws will go through. You may need to just pull your wires out of your way. Then you'll go ahead and flip this over and start lining up your screws in order to attach the casing to the bracket. Okay, and then your final step is going to be to attach the capacitor back onto the bracket. Just tighten that down. And then you're ready to insert your modular electronics back into your freeze dryer.